All right, hello. Welcome back to Ultra Real Estate. As always, thank you to everybody who's been subscribing to the channel. People have been liking the videos, much appreciated. To get right into it, is right now a good time to buy a house? You know, I always say, it depends on what market you're in. So right now, I can really speak for Chicago. I've been looking in Phoenix. I've been looking in San Diego. I have aspirations of owning a winter home in one of those locations, one day. And so it's a good time to buy a house as far as interest rates, but as far as the prices right now, honestly, from the locations I've looked at, they're insane. I mean, granted, you may have some equity depending on if you get it for a good enough price, you might have some instant equity as soon as you have the down payment, and your house will automatically be worth more than what you paid for it. But I think right now, because of COVID, nobody really can tell you what's going to happen. This hasn't happened ever, in the history of mankind in the real estate market. And the thing about it is, you cannot get hopped up on just getting a low interest rate and then you end up overpaying for the house. All right, example. So I bought a house. I bought a two flat. I bought a two flat in October of 2019. My credit was average. I think I got like a 4.5, 4.6 rate, something like that. Actually, it really is not that bad. And right now, you're seeing houses for 2 point this, 2 point that, maybe on the higher end, maybe you'll pay 3.1, 3.2 for a rate. And if you look at the math, if you pulled out a mortgage calculator, what your mortgage would be at a 4.5, 4.6, 4.7 rate compared to a 2.5, 2.6, it's not that big of a difference. If you're in a position where you're bidding on houses and they're going for $75,000 more than what they would normally cost, that's not worth it. Unless this house is your dream house and this is it, this is the final house you ever buy in your life. Okay, maybe, I guess, to each his own. But right now, especially if you're an investor, you can't overpay for the house. It makes no sense to overpay for the house when before COVID, it wasn't like interest rates were 14 point this, and I'll be like, oh yeah, right now, by all means, do what you gotta do, buy a house. I mean, 3.2, 2.5, who could beat that? But right now, when you're paying, $50,000, $75,000 more for the house, it's, in my opinion, it's just not worth it. Because that money that you save in interest every month by getting a lower rate, it may be $35, $45, maybe just $50 per month. When you stretch out that price over a mortgage for 30 years, all those months, 12 months in a year, it really comes out to not be that big of a deal as far as how much more money you'll pay. So that's a big thing. I'm always looking if I happen to find a deal, because I always tell people it's like going to TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross, whatever discount clothing store. Sometimes you never know. Sometimes you'll just find a deal. By all means, always look. But I would say for the most part right now, if I was you, save your money, maybe refinance if it's worth it, but right now it seems like the market's too crazy to buy a house. I mean, because the stuff is so overvalued. I heard lumber is crazy expensive right now. So even the cost of building houses is more expensive. So if the cost to build the house is more expensive, on the contrary, they have to sell the house for more money to make at least a little bit of profit. So right now, just don't get hopped up on low interest rates. You'll put yourself in the worst position when this bubble bursts, pop, or if it goes down, whatever may happen, if you overpay for the house. I'm seeing 3 flats in Lakeview, which is a north side neighborhood where the Cubs play, and frame 3 flats like that, frame 3 flats that are costing $800,000, $950, all types of craziness, and the rents aren't even that high to really make up the difference, so your mortgage is really high and you're not making any money. So just gauge it. It's not, for some, a lot of instances right now, I can say from all the deals I've seen, it's just not worth it. If you do get a deal, then by all means pull the trigger. But just don't be eager to get a piece of property right now because of low interest rates. Just really be careful and just make sure you're not overpaying for the property. All right. Till next time, got more videos coming up. As always, if you're watching me on Instagram, you can find me on YouTube at Ultra Real Estate. And if you're watching me on YouTube, you can find me on Instagram at Ultra. All right. See you guys soon.